Back when I was a nightclub promoter and pickup artist, one of my favorite pickup lines to use was on the best dressed girls in the clubs. And what I would do is walk up to them and be like, excuse me, but this, and I gesture to their entire outfit in a broad sweeping motion with my hand. And after a moment of that tension and build up, I'd say, is not working for you. And I was also one of the best dressed guys in the clubs. You know, I had to stand out as the promoter. Of course, it wouldn't work if I wasn't also very well dressed, right? And they would always somehow be able to tell that I was being facetious and would burst out laughing. Like, I think the girls who dress the best just aren't expecting that kind of humor, and they're getting complimented probably by every guy in there. So when a guy comes up and says the exact opposite, it comes as such a surprise to them. And the idea behind a line like this is that them getting their ego checked in a jesting type of jovial manner can be good for them, right? Sometimes I would even sit at the entry with the security guard and tell him that I'm going to be checking people's IDs with him to help him out, because there would oftentimes be quite a line. And then I would be doing that to any of the really nice dressed women, and even go as far as to be like, excuse me, but we have a dress code here, okay? So you cannot come in here wearing that, all right? You have to dress nice. If you want to slum it up like that, you have to go somewhere else. If you want to get in here, you're going to have to go home and change, because this is not working for you. And they would they would react even more strongly to that, you know, the idea of me not letting them in because they're not dressed well enough. Some of them would really start freaking out, but at the same time be asking me like, you're joking, right? You can't be serious. This isn't nice enough. They would usually know, and you know, they always found it really funny. Except this one time, I was in Vegas and I saw this really well-dressed girl who was super beautiful, walking along with a group of people. And since the music was so loud, I went up to her and went right up to her ear and whispered in her ear, "I hate your dress." And she laughed and responded with such a positive look on her face, like it was the best compliment she's gotten all night, knowing obviously that I was jesting. And she says, "Thank you," but her reaction was so positive, and this look on her face had, you know, kind of like a flirtiness to it, so much that it made the guy she was with evidently extremely jealous, and he literally rushed over and assaulted me. I swear to fucking God. He rushed over and rammed me away from her with his elbow and starts yelling at me to stay away from her, which in turn made her start yelling at him and just screaming like, "What are you doing? Oh my God, what the fuck, And I mean, this dude was so insecure that he literally embarrassed the shit out of her in public and caused a huge scene in the club just because he saw her reacting positively to another guy. A guy who hadn't even touched her, hadn't laid a hand on her. Right? And I had to tell him that he shouldn't be putting his hands on me like that, because I hadn't touched her, hadn't touched him, and, you know, I could have security throw him out. And you know what he said to me? He literally said, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" Like he thought he was the star of his own fucking action movie or something. And I just said to him, "Yeah, you're someone who's about to get thrown out of here if you don't get your hands off of me. I haven't touched you or your girl. You shouldn't be putting your hands on me like this." And keep in mind, meanwhile, she is still screaming at him consistently throughout the whole entire thing. You know, like, taking in huge gulps of air and screaming at the top of her lungs at him and getting red in the face because she's just so embarrassed, just mortified at the scene he's causing. So he turned and left, and it really made me think a lot, that, man, a lot of these guys who act like they're the top dog alpha males are actually some of the most insecure little simps on the planet, who are so emotionally unstable and probably wounded that they can't even handle seeing their girlfriend smile at another guy. It just makes them freak the fuck out. I mean, this scene was fucking ridiculous, dude. And everyone around was like looking at us. But, these are the kinds of guys you meet in Vegas. And girls like her choose those kinds of guys for a reason. I mean, think about it. If he's that emotionally invested in and reactive to her, just imagine how she's able to emotionally manipulate him. She could probably get him to do whatever the fuck she wants for him. So, is a guy like that really an alpha male? Fuck no. He's just a simp little bitch wearing an alpha dog costume.